Nityananda, welcome to the fourth session of Enlightened Parenting this year. This is Manitya Dugananda, and I would like to welcome to the whole team of acharyas as well as a parent in this room, in the Zoom room with me, and also people who are joining on Facebook Live. So without further ado, let's start the session. Sit with the back straight. Let's enter into the space of listening, aligning whole neck, back and spine in one straight line. Close your eyes and just bring awareness to the body from head to the toes. And inhale and exhale slowly and deeply. Let's enter into the space of inquiry, the space of discussion with deep listening. Let's invoke Swamiji. I'd like you to join the palms together in your heart center, Anahata chakra. Remember Swamiji at the third eye and feel him at Ananaganda. Let's chant the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamutin Manjvatitam Gaganashatrisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalam Achalam Savadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunadahitam Satguruntam Namami. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Once again, a very warm welcome to all of you, and we have also our French Sangha joining us. Thank you from Europe and Zoom, and besides Asia Zone, we also have Jayanti from Malaysia. Welcome, and of course our Timili from Asia. So I'm just going to quickly flash the topic for today's Enlightened Parenting. I really hope today we have a active discussion and also have a mature conversation on the topic that is very relevant for our times as well as the next generation. So let's get into the works of the discussion. Okay, so let me just Jada Sharika, I need you to let me share the screen because you're the host now. You to go over the host.
You can share now.
Okay, yes. So let's have a look at today's session. The topic is about why is there no examination in the Vedic learning system? See, we all are so used to the Western education, the Macaulay education system, where exam is like a norm. And then also in Singapore, because we adopted the British system, so examination is like a norm. And so the question is why there's no exam in the ancient Vedic learning system. So I'd like to take this as a point of discussion, but before we go into the Q&A, I want to spend like more time on Q&A. I would like to give you all the context of Vedic learning system. What is the principle of the Vedic learning system? And then how is it so different from our modern day system? Okay, so because of that, it will give you the understanding of how these enlightened beings or the enlightened masters, when they created this Vedic learning system, what was the thought current, the principle when they designed the system? Okay, so let's get going. So Swamiji says that there are three types of knowledge. Okay, first is the intellectual knowledge, which is the knowledge you learn from your head, using your head. That means your brain. You can use your mind and that will be enough. You don't need any other thing. So that is the intellectual knowledge. Okay. Then the second type of knowledge is emotional knowledge, something to do with the heart. Whether we call it art, or we call it poetry, creativity, music, where the head is of no use. You can't use the head to paint. You have to use the heart to paint. So all those creative expression that needs to come from the heart, the feeling, okay? Then the third type of knowledge is called the spiritual knowledge, which is from deep learning, deep knowledge. It can neither be taught nor picked up. It can only be transmitted from being to being. That's why the role of the enlightened master comes about, where he initiates, he gives diksha. In the Vedic education system, the third knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is transmitted from guru to disciple, guru to disciple. Okay, so these are the three types of knowledge. And as you can see right now, a lot of the modern education are mainly focused on the first type. The second and third type, we have maybe a little bit of second type. The third type is only when you are entering into the spiritual learning, then you may have the experience of the spiritual knowledge. So here, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagaguru Mahasambhidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashiva, our Guru, fondly also known as Swamiji, he explains this beautifully in the Savana Uttara Agama, okay? Basically, he said that when you learn from a teacher, 1/4 you learn, okay? When you discuss with among the friends, discuss among your, the students, you learn the next 25%. When you ask him questions and get clarified, you learn the next 25%. So only when you start teaching, you learn the remaining 25%, okay? So that's why becoming a teacher in the Sanatana Hindu Dharma is the only way you get the full knowledge. The balance 25%. Okay, that's why Swamiji encouraged many of us to become a teacher, acharya. So even the Shakti Mantra of the Vedic learning system says, that in the Hindu education start with a beautiful context. It's the Shakti Mantra. It means the context why the guru and the disciple learn together. It said, let both of us be together and protected. Let us not hurt each other. Let us not cherish enmity towards each other. Let us not cherish anger towards each other. So this is the Shakti Mantra, which means the guru and disciple, both of them, pray to the existence, whether it's Parashakti or God, or whatever divine, expression, the highest Shakti. Let us help each other. Both of us are going to help each other. So if we come to a proper time, if we're punctual, we're showing our respect for each other, all of us living all this duty together here will help each other, right? So even like, for instance, even a single person missing here will be something less. That's what the whole context of, there's no enmity between the guru disciple, the teacher, and the student. That is the context of the Shakti Mantra of Vedic education system. So here's another understanding from the Vedic learning, which can actually, I took it from this, the source is from this project Shivoham, YouTube. It was created by a group of people who want to revive a lot of the sacred signs of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. And this happened to be shared by Mara White, and I felt it was really relevant for today's context. So that's why I'm bringing it up again to remind all of us why this Vedic learning system is so relevant. We can contribute so much to the digital age that we're in now. So because in the Vedic education system, we have this thing called Pramanas. Pramanas are incredible learning techniques for this digital age, where the world needs more innovators and creators. See, as you can see that for the future generation, for them to survive, for them to really make a place in the world, they need to be innovators, dynamic leaders, they need to be creators, they need to be independent thinkers. These are the qualities more and more in the digital age. So Pramanas are part of the Indian philosophy. So in this video, we learn we kind of like simplify it for the ease of understanding. So this is, if you haven't watched this video, I highly recommend you watch it. It's it's a very short video, I think 8 minutes, which give you the context of the Vedic learning system. But I have kind of summarized in a very condensed way in my slides so that it facilitates discussion, okay? So the current digital age, see, if you want to acquire knowledge in this modern world, there are three major impediments of acquiring knowledge. One is through internet, social media, right? But you should know that in internet and social media, it is a programmed reality, not the truth, because it is going through certain algorithm and is programmed. Certain way is predicted, certain way is manipulated. So as a result, the main aim of internet, social media is to keep people entertained, not exactly for gaining knowledge. It may gain some knowledge, but the main aim of the social media or the internet is more or less to keep people entertained so that you become an income source for them. If you watch a YouTube video and you keep jumping different, watching more and more, be very clear, someone is making money every time you are entertained, okay? So then the second way of acquiring knowledge, one thing about this in digital age is that you don't know which is fact or which is fake. How to find out what is fact versus fake with high information overload, because so much information overload in the internet is like it's like a dump, a dump of some true knowledge, some of manipulated, some fake news, a whole bunch of things you can find. And you, after reading, and you just feel confused, you don't know which one to believe, right? So that is also one of the problem in the internet digital age, right? And then, of course, the next thing is, because times are changing, the current education system is pretty much obsolete. Imagine by the time the child finished his university degree, whatever he learns in that, let's say 21 years of the education system, by the time he goes to the society, it's already obsolete, which is what I'm feeling even for myself. Whatever I'm doing now, even my degree has nothing to do with it. So same way, you can imagine like a child spending like at least 20 years of their youth on an education. By the time they come out to the society, they come get a job because everyone is having the same thing. But the times are changing, because remember what Swamiji said, whatever they can learn from Google, they shouldn't study, because everyone will have access to the same information. So then how can this current education system be really of use to our next generation? Correct? So that is what is happening. I have a question. Yes. So this is one set truth we need to know. One, yes, internet is very rampant. Social media is very common. Everybody is engaged in somewhat, but we need to know that it's a programmed reality to keep everyone entertained. There are a whole bunch of fake knowledge, I would say, knowledge created to keep you entertained, not for the sake of seeking the truth, right? And there's so much information overload. And even the kids, when they go to school, they don't know what is going to be relevant if they come out, because times are changing so quickly. I mean, especially with this whole COVID-19 situation, the school are moving to e-learning and all this, which means what? The school is no longer really, it's kind of like relevant. So understand we are in this major crossroad where not just the whole way of living, the lifestyle is changing. Even the education system is also going to go through a major shakeup. Okay, it is going through a major shakeup. The more we are aware, the more we're prepared how to ride on this wave, this tsunami, which is going to come. Okay. Now, the beauty of a Vedic learning process is that it focuses on these three things: why you need to learn, what you need to learn, and how you need to learn. Unfortunately, the modern education system misses out why and how. They only teach you what to do. But there's no basis, the context of why do I need to learn this? You know, even though it's not relevant, why do you make me go through this? And how to do it, right? So these are missing in the modern education system. Okay. So now let's go back to the Vedic education system where I talk about the Pramanas from this Project Shiva Home. It says that it is to create inquisitive learning. See, one thing that I observed based on the past enlightened parenting series is that the modern education system literally, because it's become such a pressure cooker, that kids are losing the passion in learning. They give up. They just feel very disappointed. They feel that it's too hard, it's too stressful, whatever may be the obstacle. It doesn't create, the inquisitive learning, something to trigger the passion, the interest to learn. So here whereas in the Vedic education system, this is what they have, okay? Designed to develop inquisitive learning in a child. So here are the 6 different techniques that, they apply in the Vedic system when learning anything under the sun. Okay, first thing, pratyaksha. As you know, that acquiring knowledge from self-experience is called pratyaksha. Your sense organs are very much engaged and involved. So this is the first level of acquiring knowledge by your personal experience. You just go and do it, and then you learn by your personal experience. So this is the first thing. But pretty much like yoga, right? Yoga, you cannot just listen and watch people do and think that you know yoga. You have to go and work on your body. You have to go and experiment the technique, the meditation, all the things apply in your body. Then you learn from the knowledge. It is called pratyaksha, as pramana. The first step is pratyaksha pramana. It means learning from your very personal experience, where your sense organs, your 5 sense organs are deeply involved, engaged. Now, let's go to the second learning system or second pramana. It's called anumana, which is acquiring knowledge from logical conclusion, right? It pushes you to question every aspect of life. It's like for instance, why we need to go to school. So you come to certain logical conclusion, which is training the thinking, the ability to think in a logical way. So that is the second pramana, how to teach kids to look at, to ask questions, and then from the question, and you get an answer and lead you to certain logical conclusion. Okay. So the third type of pramana is called upamana. Upamana is acquiring knowledge from examples or similarities. When you see something, like for instance, if you want to learn about fire, right? If you see fire that burns, you don't need to go and try the different fire to know that it burns, right? You acquire knowledge by certain example. You see someone's example, you learn about that. Let's say someone go through a lot of suffering by having this anger pattern. I give you an example, okay? So you will look at that, okay, you know that by the example, and then also a similarity in many cases that is seen, that you know that anger pattern is no good. It creates a lot of suffering, right? So you can see from example and similarities and come to certain understanding. Okay, so that is the third type of pramanas. The fourth type of pramana is called attapati. Attapati means acquiring knowledge from factual extrapolation. Like one example, with clouds, comes wind, clouds and wind, and you know that when you extrapolate, it is going to bring rain, right? So certain, components in the play, and you're going to extrapolate what is the outcome of that with that equation. So factual extrapolation is the fourth type of learning. Okay. And then the fifth type is anupalati. Okay, anupalati means acquiring knowledge from negative conclusion, looking at the other side of the table. This is where the Vaikatasatas come in. Remember, Swamiji constantly say, okay, now I'm giving this powerful cognition, go and do Vaikatasatas. Why he make us do that? He basically want us to form the two camps. One is logical conclusion, one is negative conclusion. So when they debate, the two team debate, both knowledge are, raised, both group are raised by looking at the other side of the table and be able to see another person's point of view from whether it's the logical way or the negative conclusion. So in that way, you see the whole picture in a much more wholesome way rather than one-sided. Okay, so this is a very powerful technique. I feel this negative conclusion is a very powerful technique, which is not common in our modern education at all, because it's like looking at the other side table where you allow this healthy discussion or debate on something for both groups to see a different level or depth of the knowledge. Now, last but not least, Shabda. Shabda is acquiring knowledge from written or spoken words from teachers, which is mostly what we're doing in the modern education system, from what is written by the teachers or the authors and the spoken words by the teachers. Okay, so these are the 6 pramanas where acquiring to encourage inquisitive learning. Okay, so this something which is unique to Vedic tradition, and which is why India has always been the land of great knowledge, because India here the people are the children of Saraswati Devi. Okay, in this this Shastra Pramana is from Vishnu Purana. Okay, it says that the country that lies north of the ocean and south of the Himalayas is called Bharat, and the people here are the children of Bharati. It means Saraswati. Okay, so Bharat, or Ba means brood, to hold or carry. So historically, India has always been the country of great knowledge because of the inquisitive learning approach versus, the Western approach. And you have complete freedom to question anything, anybody, including God. You can question God with the right intention or context to learn and understand. It's not questioning for the sake of questioning, but questioning for the sake of getting the right understanding and learning from those questions. That's why you can see that in India, generally they have this culture of debate. They like to, I wouldn't say argue, they like to talk a lot. So that's why it is part of their, their DNA to question a lot of things because they are the children of Saraswati, and they do a lot of inquisitive learning by questioning, because that's the only thing that they have given this. They're given this freedom to question anything, anybody, even someone in authority. Whereas in many parts of the world, we don't question the authority. This is given, we just take it and keep quiet. But no, in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, you have a complete freedom to question anything and everybody, including God. You can even question God. So that is the beauty of this whole system, because the whole space, it's about inquiry. It's about learning, not trying to enforce your ego. It's about learning. So really, it is high time we revive this learning system, which is timeless and relevant to this digital age. That was the conclusion from this Project Shivoham video. And you can see how all these pramanas are, and Swamiji has also started introducing the 4 pramanas, right? Shastra Pramanas, we have the Atta Pramana, then Atma Pramana, and then Pratyaksha Pramana, right? So these are the 4 types of pramanas that we are now seeing and see how Swamiji is very much centered on the origin of the Vedic learning system, right? First, the authority scripture, which is from the Agamas, Vedas and Agamas. Then we go into the Pramana from rishis, masters who share their experience or the research, report, right? Then Atma Pramana, our guru, who has also experimented, what is his personal experience and the conclusion. And of course, Praktyasha Pramana is our personal experience. And even researchers from, certain organization. So all these gathers give validation to certain science or the truth, okay? Now, that's why in Sanatana Hindu Dharma, this system is actually coming from Gurukulam. Gurukulam is the backbone of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Okay, so for people who are new, they do not know what is Gurukul. Gurukul means, literally meaning is becoming a part of Guru's family. Okay, the very education process in Indian tradition is about awakening you, awakening the child. It is not just giving some words, idea, concept, theologies, or theories. It is about awakening the person, the child. So in the ancient times, the Gurukul system of education prevailed in Bharat. Bharat is before, I think, last 100 years, there are so many hundreds of thousands of Gurukulam, okay, Gurukul in India. Today, we're seeing so small the numbers because the modern education has just replaced it. So there was a time, this is the only learning system. Children live with the living master in his home and learn all subjects and invite the space of the master expressing powers effortlessly. So this is how the knowledge transmission of, the spiritual knowledge transmission is done with the presence, the space of enlightened being, okay? So understand, Gurukuls are education-centric, not teacher-centric, where students can develop, invent something which his guru doesn't know. Even like Swamiji is so he's giving his balasans this complete freedom to learn something of their interest, their passion. And even it may be something that Swamiji doesn't know, that's fine, let them explore, okay? So that is the freedom. In Vedic education system, freedom is very valued. Like in the earlier, I talked about the freedom to question, the freedom to question anything and everyone, right? Anyone. So only the basic formulas to awaken the knowledge of thoughts, like they give you certain formulas to, like how to have an inquisitive learning. These are the tools to build an inquisitive learning, the formula. Then the student is left free to explore on his own. Isn't it that so inspiring and, not suffocating? Whereas here in the modern day education, what we get, the kids are given a certain syllabus, they are being forced to memorize and vomit the same information on a paper in an exam. So how can that be inspiring? How can that not kill a child's learning passion? So the creativity also kills the creativity altogether. Whereas in the Gurukul system, it's about the freedom to explore, invent something, even though they do not, the guru doesn't even know. So which is rooted in the child's bio memory. Let's say the child's memory from his past birth is he learns Ayurveda. So in this birth, when he comes back, he can again pick it up and add more to the knowledge, for instance. So Gurukuls are not with the set rules of frame. They only supported people to explore highest possible creativity. And the guru's role is the divine guide, the light in the darkness, to give the child a helping hand. I would say the hand to stretch out to lead the child if the child is lost. You understand? So the guru role is of a divine guide. Okay, so that was the kind of freedom the Gurukul balasans, the Gurukul kids get when they study in the traditional learning system. So where's the role of examination? You can see how advanced, how progressive is the learning system to develop the whole brain. Whereas the modern education system is like going many, many steps backwards. Instead of progressive, is going back, making humanity more and more stressed up, more and more, lost passion and more depressed, right? So this is what happened. Many years ago, in 1835, there was a conspiracy to destroy the backbone of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. It's actually by this person called Macaulay, okay? He said, I've traveled across the length and breadth of India. I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief, such well I've seen in this country, such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we will ever conquer this country unless we break the backbone of this nation, which is their spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture, for if the Indians think that that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, the native culture, the indigenous nature, the culture and the knowledge. They will become what we want them to be, a truly dominated nation. Can you see this seed was already planted in 1835, and we are seeing the fruit now, which is happening now. Okay, so after the British colonization, Gurukul system was replaced by the British system of education by a systematic approach of over 200 years. By now, you see why all the parents are running behind the British education system. Literally, the whole infrastructure or the backbone has already broken. Her spiritual strength, which is spirituality and Gurukul system, has been destroyed. That's why even for Swamiji to revive his Gurukul, he was facing so much attack, so much of atrocity, persecution done because of his reviving the most authentic Gurukul system back to planet Earth. Okay. So what has the Western education done, to our next generation? Look, what they focus is left brain centric instead of whole brain. So only 5% of brain is doing, and they're dumping the brain with facts, figures, and logic, right? Where's the inquisitive? Where's the passion? It's mainly focused on performance, what grades you get. So the examination will make the child so stressed out because it's about one examination determine your future. And there's a lot of memorization, and some kids are not good at memorizing, but they are highly creative and in their visualization. But that part is not rewarded or not encouraged. And a lot, understanding knowledge is completely ignored or forgotten. They don't look at the child as a being. They look at the child as like a machine, what to program to this machine. So examination system instill a lot of fear and unnecessary stress in our children. You look at, by the time the child reach teenage, they would have become so stressed by the education system. I don't know about other countries, but in Singapore, yes, it is like that. Like some of them have poor physical health because of the stress. They become aggressive, a lot of violent, restless. They are not able to remain calm. They are very self-centered. Also low self-confidence, esteem. And because they're not able to cope the stress and all that, they start to get into distraction like addiction, drugs, smoking, drinking, even pornography, just to get their mind off from the stress. And even some developmental disorder like panic attack, anxiety, insomnia, not able to sleep, obsessive compulsive disorder. And of course, the worst is depression, right? Depression is one of the, getting very common, not just in young adult. Now it's coming to the youngsters, teenagers. They're all diagnosed with depression, many of them. Okay, even the teachers are also getting depressed. Actually, last week I just found out from from one of the teachers. He said that in the Institute of Mental Health, which is, it's like a mental hospital in Singapore. He said that a lot of teachers are there. It means what? A lot of teachers are also getting depressed and going to see, all this seeking help because of the depression. Because the system is not just stressing out the parents, they're also stressing out teachers. Because the teacher is not able to handle the whole system, where pressure coming from the top, pressure coming from the children and the parents. So they are sandwiched in between. They're also getting enormous stress. So not only just kids getting, mental disorder, the teachers are also suffering. This is what is happening now in Singapore. I don't know about the rest of the country. You can later share what is your observation. But I'm telling you, in Singapore, this is the problem. I think last week we had a session, 2 weeks ago, we had a session talk about violence, ahimsa, right? Non-violence. And a lot of these are coming from the side effect of this system, the education system, creating a lot of stress. And when the kids are stressed, they direct the stress into violent aggression in the outer world. Not only just violent in the outer world, but also self-violence. It means violence against self. Okay. So basically, Swamiji, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, said that, give a very powerful statement. When I heard it for the first time, I was really shocked. I could not make the connection. He said, if we can remove examination from our education system, the world will become non-violent. When he spoke this statement, I was totally shocked about how this education system, the examination is connected to violence. Now I fully understood. Because this examination creating such a stressful mental setup, this constant, stress, it's like a pressure cooker. We put the kids and teacher, everyone in the system to become in this pressure cooker. So as a result, everything are falling apart. Not just mentally falling apart, the body are falling apart also. So that's why he said, if we just remove examination, you will see the world become less violent. And for him to make that true, he must have already known that how the damaging is the modern education system with the, this meritocracy, means reward based on merits. That means how well you do in terms of marks, whether you get A's, you are the topper in your school, in your cohort. All that gives that, performance driven, how well you perform in the examination to determine your self-worth and your creativity, your IQ. So that is where the whole system has been focusing on the end result, which stresses not only the parents, but also the kids and also the teachers. Everybody got stressed in the system. I remember when my son Kai was going through the PSLE, the Primary 6 Education System National Exam, and then O-level. Oh God, during those 2 phases, I was going through the stress also as a parent. So it's like not just the kids are going through stress, the parents are also going through the same kind of exam stress. Because, it's like, only when it comes to O-level, I didn't really bother anymore. When he was in the primary 6, when he was about 12 years old, because I was still very new about this whole thing. But after that, I just told my son, I said, do what you like, discover your talent, discover your biomemory, don't bother about the result. Because you're not designed to, academically excel in your academic performance. Don't worry about that. You will have a place in the world by you concentrating on your talent and your biomemory. So that was what I told him anyway. So because of this understanding, that's why Swamiji, His Divine Holiness, has started the revival of Gurukul system more than a decade ago. Okay, sorry. More than a decade ago. Basically, he has started Nityananda Gurukul I can't remember exactly the year, but it's more than 10 years now. I think probably 11 or 12 years now. And then he also extended to the weekend Gurukul called Bala Vidyalaya. That was the time, when I first started getting involved in this Gurukul, but not in the direct way. It's more like a weekend enrichment program, Bala Vidyalaya, like where kids come and learn from Swamiji once a week. And now we are going to move to the next new program, which is e-Gurukul, which to be launched in Singapore in next month, during Navaratri. So we are actually preparing as part of the whole preparation for the launch. We are talking about the grand narrative of the Gurukul in the whole series of enlightened parenting this year. We want to bring again the right knowledge of Gurukul to give parents, teachers, public the right context of Gurukul. Why? This is the most powerful learning system which can bring up the best. In fact, Swamiji said that in those days, Gurukul is actually like an incubator for enlightened beings and incarnations. Because of the system, as you can see how it prepares a child in the awakening of the consciousness, the highest possibility, the ultimate possibility. Because of that, it is creating very powerful beings, leaders in India, in Bharat. So because of that, they make a lot of contribution in the humanity when this system was still very much alive, where the Guru is still very much, a part of this whole learning system. So we're very, very grateful now that Swamiji is again focusing on revival of this Gurukul system, the Vedic, learning system, which is the most powerful, which creates not awakening the child, but also, create very powerful inquisitive mind in a child where they learn and question. And that's what makes independent thinker, dynamic leader, creator. That's what we need for the future. The future can only survive. We produce such caliber, high caliber of people or children, next generation. That's why he said that the Hindu children are the hope for the next generation, for the future. There's no future for, if we bang on the current education system, the Hindu children are the one who is going to bring this future to planet Earth because of the way they think and the way they are going to process information in the digital age. Okay, so with that, I would like to stop the presentation to go into the question and answer time. I already framed the context, and let's, I'm going to stop the share now. So I hope all of you, 2006. Okay, thank you. So how many years now? Now is 221 minus 2006. 15 years. Oh my God. Thanks, Masha Darupa, for telling me the answer. So 15 years, Swamiji had been, in the whole process of reviving the Gurukul. And of course, right now, it is going through a lot of obstacles. So for us to come together to, even create an e-platform for Gurukul, it is going to go through certain also hurdles, so which we all need to overcome. So with that, I would like to open the floor for discussion. Okay, I stop the sharing now. I really want all of you to participate based on the discussion that we had so far. I'd like to hear. You can type your question. Malala, you can encourage the French acharyas as well as parents to basically type the question, or if they are shy to speak up. Okay, thank you, Nityanama Shadarupa, for inspiring. Thank you. I did some homework and So I can imagine, okay, when I read about the sixth pramana, I was like, oh God, so powerful, like the way how they train the kids to think differently. But right now, we don't make them think. We program them to memorize. And that's why they're all protesting. The kids are protesting because it's too boring for them. They get bored in in the modern education system. Actually, I'm sharing my son's exact word. He said he feels that going to the school is like a prison for him. It's like he's being caged. He's just being forced to prepare for exams, and worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. He's just forced to do many practice of past life, past examination paper. So he said after a while he just got so bored with it. So that's why it is very disturbing. So okay, so thank you for sharing that you're inspired by this presentation. So right now, let's open for the discussion. What do you think, after hearing my presentation? Anyone, you can click now.
Yes, this is Shankari.
Yes, Mr. from Hong Kong.
So I think I can share something about I observed in Hong Kong. Actually, I'm a teacher. I graduate from the University of Education in Hong Kong. And somehow, I graduated for a period of time, and at the first few years, I'm trying to get a school job as a teacher there, but I try my best to get my job, but finally, I decided not to work in the school as a teacher because what Maduka share is so boring, and you cannot do anything for the kids. You only follow the curriculum and make them to do all the homework. And I can tell you where even the teachers are very stressed. Need to mark it because I was a Chinese teacher, so I need to mark the compositions. In the largest class I have at that moment is 45 or 47 kids in one class. And I have to mark everything. Actually, I spent all my holidays for the marking. So it's very terrible. So while I was like a temporary teachers, not the regular teachers there.
Relief teacher, they call it relief teacher.
Yeah. And so somehow the principal there considered to employ me in the next school year if someone's, they retire or something, but I decide not to do it. I cannot imagine if I do it for a few years or 10 years. I think it is not the way to learn at that moment. It's a long time ago. So I try my best to find another way to teach kids. Yeah. So that's why I search everywhere. Actually, I took many courses. I try if anything can contribute for the kids in this situation, because very stressed, and we need to somehow need to compromise with the schools, all the things. And finally I found Gurukul. This is the only way. So that's why I'm here. I took so many courses, and I tried to ask so many professionals. So so-called professional, okay? And I try to get the answer. If the kids facing these problems, how can we, how should we do, or how do we help as a teacher? I always ask these questions, but I never, there's no a proper answer to fulfill. I mean, there's no practical answer I can find until I met Swamiji.
Yes.
And so I would like to share this because I'm a teacher, so I searched for it for over 10 years when I met Swamiji. Yeah. And the other thing I want to share is, maybe this is the questions. I'm not, even I'm not working in the school, but I'm still working with some with kids like yoga, or sometimes I teach them Chinese as a private tutor, and I found that I'm not sure if it is the situation in Hong Kong, but in Hong Kong, the parents have some idea that they want to use exercise or examinations to to occupy the kids. I'm trying to, some parents, they are open to some another way. For example, I talk to them, that's another like Gurukul or something good for the kids to inspire them, something like this. Even not Gurukul, maybe some creative way, for example, art, yoga, something you can inspire kids. But the parents will ask that if the kids learn too fast, there's no exam, no more exercise. They can do all the exercise. So what can they do? Because they think the kids are so they have so many times they don't, somehow the parents, maybe they are busy, they're working parents, they don't have lots of time to spend with the kids. They want to have something to occupy their kids. So this is the questions, how to tell the parents, hey, you don't need to use these kind of things to occupy your kids. You can have some smart way or inspired way to let your kids, have something fun or something to do in daily time. So this is my question. Always, it is the real question, actual question I faced.
Yeah. So I mean, all the teachers and parents, please jump in, especially that we have Anna also. She's she's also a teacher in Singapore.
I missed the presentation.
So it doesn't matter. You can watch that later. But I think based on this discussion, okay, I would attempt to answer Ma Shankari. Okay. So basically, then of course, any one of you can know, so jump in based on your personal view, because see, the whole point of this whole parenting workshop is to get more and more people involved, discuss. It's just like doing bucket of subtas, if you will, no? And come to certain level of conclusion where we need to take certain decision and responsibility. See, when you remain unaware, see, you can tell from what Shankar has shared, the first thing is the insecurity of not having exam by parents. If they don't see exam, they think that the kids are not being accessed properly, the kids do not learn properly. This is a misconception or a fallacy inserted into the parent's mind. Hi, George. She's one Gurukul kids that will never go to the education. He refused to go. He said the school is too boring. Later, I will let Anna share. Okay. So basically, see, I can tell you, a lot of the parents are byproduct of the Western education. So they learn in such a way that, oh, exam is the norm. Exam is the way to access the kid. If they don't learn from exam, if they don't get pressure to learn, they will not, because they also went through it. So they say, it's like, what's wrong? I went through that. You should also go through that, the same thing. But they forgot that each generation is an updation of children. You can see your parents' generation and your generation is different. And your kids' generation is also different from your generation. Each generation is upgradation, right? And right now, all the kids coming to planet Earth, they are highly conscious being. They are not at our time. That's why they, even there's this thing, the term indigo child, rainbow child. All these are symptomatic of children arriving on planet more and more highly evolved being with high consciousness coming to planet Earth in this time. So of course they're not going to, tolerate this boring and outdated education system. They will rebel. They don't want to go. So that's why parents need to understand. We need to shift the understanding from the parents so that, look, it's not that first thing need to insert into them is examination. It's not the way to assess a child's intelligence. They need to let go and unclutch from examination. They feel, oh, exam, you need to study for exam, then I know whether you can fit into the system, right? Whether you become A grader that you can apply for the best known school, whatever. Because it's been created like this, that the parents are running behind only the society defined norm of performance. That means they're trying to fit into the society more than anything, rather than discovering the child's unique talent and their I would say, their uniqueness, basically. Understand? Each child is unique. They're here to create their own possibility, and they're, contributing to the new consciousness. Here, we don't want them to develop. We just suppress them and make them down and depressed. And then in the end, we destroy them because they get into psychiatric drugs. Once they get into drugs, they're sedated, and then they lose the consciousness because they can't think properly anymore by the chemicals, right? So that's the problem. Like more and more kids are getting destroyed because of the system, forcing them to become stressed and lost interest in the learning itself. You imagine if we put a child to this whole 6 way of inquisitive learning, they will never get bored. That's what I'm seeing in Balasan, in Gurukul, in Swamiji's Gurukul. They're always highly excited, highly enthusiastic to learn. They are just like, they just pick up, okay, learn today instrument. They just go and pick up the instrument, they play with it, and then they start learning. And that's how they explore and they discover themselves. It's like a self-discovery process. Whereas here we don't. They go to school, they go to certain syllabus, and then after that they have to go to the exam. And if they fail to produce exactly what the teachers want, then they are graded badly, and then that's the end of the life of the child, which is very sad, very pathetic. Some kids flower late. Let's say, they are late bloomers. They develop, into their highest potential at a later age. But the system is not able to tolerate that. If you cannot develop at this age, they will just kick you to some kind of, grading where the child become, low in confidence, and not only that, low self-esteem and lost interest in themselves and give up. And that's the worst thing that can happen, which is not understanding each child is a being, not a machine to be programmed. So that's why I would highly encourage the teachers to start educating the parents to not get clutched to examination. The examination is a form of violence created in the child system because of the stress is naturally going to manifest in certain violence, whether it's aggression, anger, frustration. It is going to be over time explode in some kind of violence, whether it's violent to the self, which is like self-harming or guilt, or express a violence to the outer world. In the last session, if you have watched my last Enlightened Parenting, one child in Singapore just 2 months ago, 16-year-old, take an axe and slaughter a 13-year-old boy in the toilet. It was totally unheard of. It was shaken the whole Singapore education system. violent right in front of the eyes in the school, and it's a branded school. It's not like some neighborhood school where you get a lot of naughty kids. They are branded school. It means all the toppers kids are there. It means what? Very worrying, isn't it? Can you imagine all these schools are producing all these violent kids? So I think one of the biggest tasks for teachers is to educate the parents about the truth about examination. That's why this topic, I bring it up. Why exam is not needed. Why we don't have examination in the Vedic education system, and they produce the most brilliant, contributor, leaders on planet Earth. Why are you so hung up on examination, which is not only going to destroy the kid, but you're not going to allow him to, live his dream. Understand? So that is my answer to Shankari. I mean, of course, Ma Anna, you can share your point of view also, where she talk about, parents are so insecure if they say kids are not put to exam. You want to share, Ma Anna? Anna, you want to introduce yourself a little bit first, and then you can share what you have been doing. Are you there, Ma Anna? You need to unmute yourself.
I think she didn't get it, Ma. Marina?
Anna.
Anna, sorry.
Wait. I think maybe, okay, we wait for her to come back. Anyone can just jump in now until she come back. Anna. Wait, let me just see. Did she type? Okay. We'll let her share later on. So anyone who wants to, okay, we have Yana Mai from China. She said that, oh, okay. We were just talking in, Ma Shankari, you want to read that? You want to translate that for the group? She wrote in Mandarin.
Okay. Okay, so Namai, I think she's coming from mainland China, and tonight she discussed the same topic with her sister in the education department in China. Also announced 双减就是 I think that's a strategy to reduce something reduce the kicks, the stress of the kicks. But it makes the parents worry about it. I think maybe the reduce, I don't know what, okay, is they less exam and less homework. And I think this is the problems with the parents.
Yeah, it's the parents' problem. Because
I remember in Hong Kong, some school, they reduce the homework and reduce the exam taxes. And then the parents bring the kids to the tutorial school. They pay to the tutorial school. Do the same thing.
Yeah. See, I told you, another problem I also saw is that parents, especially mother, because they're too busy with their career building and all that, they don't have the patience to allow the kids to explore the creativity. See, in those days, Gurukul, the ambience was created in such a way that it helps the whole development of the learning. Whereas now the kids are coming back home and their mothers are busy and both parents are busy working, so they don't have the patience to teach the kids in a creative way. That's why they say, okay, if they're occupied by exams and all these enrichment course, their job is done. Right? Yes, Master Dharupa, so yes, we need to heal the parents first. They need to be complete with the insecurity or fear of not having examination or less paperwork. Okay. Shadika, want to say something? You're a parent, please share.
Yeah, I just want to say Singapore is the same, because recently our education system also reduced a lot of the homework, and the way they teach is that no more homework, and all the parents get very anxious because they realize, hey, how come no homework one? And then they cannot see like the son is like, then they ask the children that almost everything also don't know. Then they got very worried. Then the solution is, I think I need to send my son for tutorial, especially now when come out to higher primary. Like normally like the final year primary 6 is the living school examination where they determine the results determine which secondary school you go. So the parents are very anxious now when they realize that they still continue like that, and no homework and this, then they very worried the children cannot do well. So what they do is that send to tuition center outside.
Yeah, it's like subcontracting them. It's like make sure that kids are occupied fully with a lot of, tuition and all that kind of thing, tutorial, just to like prepare them for examining. This is the whole, I call it like a mental sickness now. The parents are actually mentally sick, believing the exam is the right way for the kids. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's very worrying. And they don't know how this violence and how this suppression and anger is causing kids to become violent and becoming, not interested in learning. They don't know the damage that the examination or the system is creating in the child. Whereas they think this is good for them. Isn't it something fundamentally wrong when the truth is it's doing so much damage? Yes, my Anna is back. Okay, you need to unmute.
Josh needed my attention.
I figured out.
Yeah, it's like that one.
This is what happened. Okay, all right. You want to share?
Okay. About my experience as a teacher.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
how you see this whole thing has evolved, and also what you're doing differently for your child, because your child is going through this whole same, struggle, right? So you want to share? Please.
Okay. I have taught in the school for like 20 years. Yeah, actually I taught for about 15 years. Then I quit. And then on and off, I have been back to do relief teaching. So when I was a beginning teacher, like the first year teaching, I was very passionate about teaching. So it's like I have lots of ideas to teach my kids, which they were in grade 1, that is primary 1, 7 years old. So it's like I would teach them things that are actually beyond their textbook, and they are all very interested. And then one day, one teacher who is more senior than me walked past my classroom, and then after that, after the class, she told me, Miss Ang, you shouldn't be teaching this to the students. They wouldn't be able to understand. Then I was like, huh? But they enjoy it. So it's like, then after that, after a few years of teaching, I realized that I need to follow the syllabus. I cannot do things that are more creative for the children. And they're like, the parents, they are all only like, in Singapore, they're all after results. So the principal, everybody is after results. So it's like, I see that, and the education value, I really cannot see eye to eye. So I left the system. Yeah, I cannot do something that is contradicting to my belief. So right now, I'm actually a parent and youth coach. So what I want to do is actually to educate parents to see the the unique talents and the uniqueness of their children rather than going after grades, and also to help youth to see their own strength. Because just recently I was teaching mentoring a group of at-risk children who came from dysfunctional family, and they are all very they have very low self-esteem. And then so I've been mentoring them, telling them that actually each of them have their own strength, because these children, they see nothing good in themselves, and it's like the whole system look down on this group of children. So and then because this group of children, their grades are actually the lowest in the school. So it's like then they think that they themselves, they can't do any good things. So for the past 8 months, I've been telling this group of children, telling them stories, sharing them stories about what they can do to fulfill their dreams. Actually, they have a lot of dreams, but their dreams are not academic. So it's that their parents think that this kind of dreams is like of no use. So one of them want to be a national soccer player. And then both his parents are actually teachers, school teachers. So the parents kind of like dissuade him. So he has been very sad and he is kind of depressed. Yeah. So I've been telling the form teacher, to like talk to the mother or something to let the boy, if he's very, very interested in soccer, just let him do it, since academically why he's actually not good. So this is my experience in the school. And for my son, actually he doesn't like school. Hey, hang on, I need to charge my laptop. Hang on for a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, even Rina, she also committed. Yeah, see, three kids committed suicide. Actually, in the last parenting session, you can see suicide is the highest rate of death by the kids and youngster suicide because of the stress. Can you continue?
Okay. And then the case that Madhuka was talking about, the 16-year-old boy, actually it was the school that I taught before. So in a way, and I'm also an alumni from that school, so I was kind of a bit affected, when I heard the news. So I have taught at various schools, the very top elite schools and also the neighborhood schools. So the stress that the children have is actually almost the same. Everybody is after the academic results, but for the top schools, right, their pressure to do well is much, much greater. So it's like these children, they are all good children. So somehow maybe I feel that the parents don't really understand them, so the parents actually need awakening, really. Just like like one mother, my friend, was telling me like the son in doing his A-levels next year. So she is very, very worried because the son has been failing his exam. Then the son is like having low self-confidence also, because like if you're in JC, like it's junior college, everybody is doing well, but he's not. So he has been feeling very low. So his mother actually approached me. So I have been coaching him for this past week. So when I talk to him, actually, I feel that the parents don't understand him at all. So that actually leads on to all these problems. So I feel that parents are actually very important in like getting their children to really be the best that they can be, to really like let them flower with their own talents and not what the parents actually imposing on them. So like, okay, for me, right, I'm a teacher, so my son is only 6 years old. Okay, but like last year, I met the mother of his classmate. So the mother actually asked me, say, hey, you are a teacher, right? I said, yeah. Then she asked me, then do you give your son a lot of worksheets to do? Then I was like, no, I don't give him worksheets at all. He doesn't like to do worksheets. He like to do all sorts of things. That just now you see him spinning something, right? He asked me to print this thing out, zoetrope for him, and he wants to show already. And he has been, so these few days, I really, because of the high COVID cases, I didn't let him go to school. So basically, I'm at home, like homeschooling. He wants to show. Okay, wait. Wait. He wants to perform already. There.
Well, I'm unsure because if
Wow.
you spin it with the naked eye, you look to the slots. And if you use a camera, you look through that.
Okay.
Wow,
Can you see or not?
so innovative, George.
Doesn't look like that.
Yeah, it's like a movie inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So he has been doing all these things at home rather than doing worksheets.
Yeah, and one of his favorite pastime, by the way, is drawing deities.
Yes, drawing deities. He
You
drew
should show
a lot
all
of
the
deities.
deities, latest one. He will connect with the deities and draw them. And his drawing is like beyond for a 6-year-old. It's amazing.
Just today, Ma Shankari asked them to draw Ganesha, which is behind her, right, the background. He drew a different Ganesha.
The way how he see Ganesha in his own third eye.
Yeah. Yeah. So he every day he will draw deities. Once he's into who is that? Ma Kali. Then every day he will be drawing Ma Kali. Yeah, and then sometimes he will be into like, who else do you draw? Maduga and who else?
Shiva.
Shiva. Yeah, initially he was drawing Shiva, and then almost all the deities.
Then got one time he drew Tara, right? Mother Tara, right?
Yeah, he drew Mother Tara. Yes.
And when Kali
Then he will be telling me, oh, Kali is right in front, you know, dancing and things like that. Yeah, so I just let him, you know, I will let him like do what makes him happy. So he loves drawing. Drawing is his favorite. Yeah. So like, okay, and another thing is he is very good in like reading. Even though I don't teach him like, you know, like class, okay, English. No, I never teach him any English. But okay, one thing is when he was very young, I started reading to him. I just read story to him. You know, I used to be an English primary school English teacher. So, and I love stories. Yeah. He talks non-stop one. Yeah. So like now he's 6, he can actually read very well. Yeah. So there's one thing. Like,
yeah, he's much more advanced in the language skill for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, even the teacher told me during the parent-teacher meeting, they also have parent-teacher meeting at this age, told me, can George speak simpler English or not? The classmate cannot understand, so the teacher will have to translate. Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, and yeah, so it's like that. So he's very lively. And okay, one thing is he is so active. Okay, so yeah, I have to be like, you know, I have to have a lot of energy.
Keep up with him. See,
Yes, to keep up with him.
There is a you know, an expression of a lively, intelligent kid. But you know, as a mother, you need to keep out to you know, for their ferocious appetite to learn. But many of the modern parents, why? They don't have the patience nor the interest to develop the child. They just want to quickly go through it and finish the job. That is where the irresponsibility or inauthenticity of parent. This is where Somchi say again, I would teach you through your kids, right?
Yeah, and I think for like Singaporean parents, right, they would rather send their kids for enrichment classes than teach them themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
so
his
classmates,
they don't want to take the responsibility. They think that
Yeah.
they are not able to teach. They think that they want to relax or something. Oh, I wouldn't work one Monday to Friday. I just wanted to chill, you know.
Yeah. So it's like, and then when they send the children for enrichment classes, right, the parents can go shopping and things like that.
Yeah, go facial.
That's what's
and all
happening
that.
here. Yeah. So a lot of his classmates go for enrichment classes one. For him, I just let him, he's now learning music. I mean, his own interest. Last time he used to learn art, and then now one day he told me, you know, the art at the art school, right, is too kiddie for him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want. Yeah. So now,
I mean, you can tell them why he finds school so boring. Can you tell them?
Hey, why is school so boring? Why is school so boring? Huh? Now he's chanting.
No, you remember he was just saying that when he go to school, it would just be, you know, like he'll make him dull or what, something.
Yeah. He says, okay, is because he cannot do what he wants to do.
No
like
freedom, right?
No freedom. And then right now, because of COVID, right, they have to sit in a square box that is, you know, like they paste the tape on the floor. Then each child has to sit inside, like 1 meter apart, and cannot get out of that box. So it's like he
Like
told me,
yeah,
like a prison, like a prison, like a bird cage of prison. Yeah.
And then what he say? I remember he said one very powerful statement that going to school is what for him?
Oh, hey, yeah, he used to give me quotes. He said, hey, Yang, you say what? Going to school is what? Can't remember already. Yeah, going to school is like something like, hey, what is it? Do you remember? Can't remember. Going to school is like what? Boring. Yeah, there's one powerful statement which I cannot remember. Too many. Yeah, and he can give me some good quotes, you know. He said, because I'm always like doing my own coaching practice, right? So I will put up like quotes and Facebook. Then one day he will say, okay, mommy, today is the quote. Then he said, he said, if parents want to understand their kids, it's from him, they must enter their world, like the children's world.
It's true. That's why we talk about space of the child. Remember?
Yeah, that's what he told me. Then he said, then he designed the Canva. Then he said, okay, mommy, now you post this. Yeah, then he said his post got more likes than my own. Yeah. Yeah, really, his post got more likes.
Oh yeah, that's exactly. He said, basically, I'm skeptical about going to school. Remember? At such a young age, he's able to say.
So I do not know. So I was thinking if, oh, something went wrong.
You had a pause. Yeah.
Oh yes, wait, wait, what happened? Okay, is it back?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something.
Remember,
went wrong.
Shakti just said, he said, I'm skeptical about going to school. Remember?
Yes, he can use the word skeptical. I was like, huh? Yeah, he says I'm skeptical about going to school. So I was thinking, yeah, oh, he said he's very skeptical now. I was thinking if the school, the normal like public system does not suit him, I think I will really homeschool him. Yeah. Oh, that's what
I think that's probably what Swamiji's recommended. See, he said that for all his initiated kids, it is best to homeschool them because they will not be able to fit into the education system.
Yeah,
so
like
you can, supplement it with Gurukul, so that in other creative module which will make his learning more fulfilling and engaging rather than send him to a system where it's going to bore him and for his learning,
Yeah, like now I really can feel it when he's only like in kindergarten. And because of COVID, right? I think he only spent maybe 6 months. For 2 years, I think only 6 months he's in school. The rest of the time he's at home.
Yeah, he would say, I don't feel like going to school, and he just won't go.
Yeah, he won't go. Yeah, he won't go. Sometimes he will go if there's some fun things to do. If not, he'll be like, oh, so boring. He doesn't want to go. Yeah.
This is the what you see when you have Swamiji's kid.
Yeah, and that constantly I have to think of like new things for him to do. Oh, no, I don't think he will tell me that he got this idea and ask me to search for materials for him to do.
Yeah, now he's telling you. Last time he will bug you to entertain him, right?
Yeah. Now now he will get me that just now that troop, right? He found it and then he asked me to print out and then this morning we did it together. And then he videoed himself doing that.
See, he's so creative. He's like he's like a creator by himself already.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so I can't keep up with him.
You have to. You have no choice because you
have to.
you have a enlightened kid in the making.
That's why.
So.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So he will tell me, mom. Then he will say things like, what problem do you have today? I can give you some advice.
And he go around blessing people. He will go around and say, let me bless you.
Yes.
He's like,
yeah. Oh, and one thing is he's a vegetarian. So he will go around like and he actually made the whole family became vegetarian.
By his space, powerful.
By his space, when we were like when he was very young, we were not yet vegetarian. So I think about age of 3 years old, he stopped eating meat. So
yeah, after attending my class.
Yes, after attending actually before that also. He has been spitting out, like we used to cook him fish, and then all that. He, and eggs, right? So at the age of 3, he will be refusing them like slowly. Then after going to Gurukul, right? Oh, he got completely stopped. So we also stopped eating because he doesn't want to eat. So we need to cook food that, everybody can eat. So after that, my whole family is vegetarian, and he will go around telling everybody, like my relatives, right? When we go to my grandma's house, he will ask my auntie, oh, you have to be vegetarian. Yeah. And then they will ask him why. Then he will say, if you eat the meat, right, the animals will suffer. Yeah. And then he will tell my neighbors also, anybody that he meets in the lift, wherever, he will tell them, stranger, he will say, hello. He's very good at socializing one. Then he will say, hello, my name is George. What's your name? And then he will say, I'm a vegetarian. Then the stranger will say, what? You're a vegetarian? Yeah. Then he will tell them, you cannot eat meat because the animals will suffer. Yeah. So there are only 2 vegetarians in his class. And then another thing that he didn't want to school is because he said the vegetarian food sucks at the school. So every time he will go hungry. He said only one time it was okay. Yeah. So he will come home and he'll be so hungry because the food sucks. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you, Mayana,
Yeah,
for sharing.
okay.
Okay, well, let's to hear other Zoma Lala, please have our French parents or acharyas, please. You can speak or translate so that they can ask question or they can share what they are observing. See, basically, you can see one of the underlying problem that is still perpetuating is parents have not shifted. If they have shifted, then the education system would have to face the whole thing that examination is not doing any good for the kids, right? But parents is asking the teachers to give them exam. It's like, why are you not giving, they're not learning. They think that exam is learning. So that is one misconception that they have, where parents are still, ignorant about it. So we need to really complete them with the fear of an exam and also the wrong ideas, belief in examination. So I hope this session opens that understanding. Next.
They're writing. I can see they're both writing. We have two parents here who are not even acharya, so I think they're very happy to write.
So do they have a question?
They're writing actually at the moment, ma'am.
They don't have questions so far?
They're typing it right now.
Oh, typing now. Okay, sorry. So who else while the parents are typing or Acharya typing, who else want to ask? Acharya Shadake want to say something?
Yes, I saw Yana Mai comments in Chinese. Actually, I like this China government on their aspect on education. When they really want to reduce the pressure, they do it, because she mentioned that, because here, like even if we reduce they go to enrichment class, right? I saw her writing. I do not know what they do, but they stop the enrichment thing. That means the government stop it. And so now even the parents, they have no enrichment classes to send to now. I really admire that. Also, recently I read in the news, I saw the headlines. They restrict online gaming to only 1 hour per day. Immediately after this announcement, some of the online gaming, the shares drop. But yeah, I quite like their. I hope our government can follow something.
They will not. They will not. They don't have the courage to do it. So, anyone else want to share something while the French team are typing?
I just have a small comment about how people can be, so used to a system that they cannot think. If you use the parallel in medicine, like now the new doctors really try to have people have less and less medicine because it is having so many side effects. But we are at the point when a doctor is really trying to do this seriously, it doesn't have any patient. Like people don't like that. So they don't come to these doctors who are trying to give less and less medicine because they are so used to it. So it's the same like in the education system. We are so brainwashed with a certain system that we cannot think differently, even though there are even, really a lot of issues with medicine and side effects. There are really good doctors who are trying to bring that and it doesn't work. So it's we have to re-educate completely people in a new way of thinking.
I see. Thanks. Okay, so I saw quite a few French, participants type something. Can you translate? I don't read French, so I'm not sure what is it.
I think there is. I don't see really a question, but she's commenting. Apparently, said that no, it's not a question. She's more commenting on the. It's so important to have the e-Gurukul before being able to have the physical Gurukul. Also, maybe there is this question: is e-Gurukul? If there was a question, maybe is e-Gurukul enough? To supplement what is given today in physical Gurukul, like in Bidadi. If there was a question.
Okay, that's a question. See, right now, we will not be able to send many kids to India, right? Because of the, many obstacles like the parents have to relocate there, and it's not like just sending them there and you just go away. It will take them a while to settle down. So like for parents need to be there for a while to be able to, and also the other thing is the government, you need to be able to issue some student pass and all that. So it's not as simple as if let's say people who are born in India, it's easy. The parents just move, they not go and stay in Adinam in BDD, and then they just live there as a family, like a community. Whereas for outside, for us to go there, you need a lot of paperwork to be done. That's why Swamiji said that if you cannot come, then create one and wherever you are, which is start with e-Gurukul and then build the community, kids and parents. When you have at least 10 families who's ready, that's how Swamiji started. He just basically called 10 families from his devotees, and they all came and lived with him, and the kids start studying, and that's how they started Gurukul there. So same way, that's how when you have a community of parents who embrace this system of learning for the child, they're willing to sacrifice, do tyaga on their life and give this opportunity, possibility for the kid to. It's like Gurukul is like they send the child there and get a god back. The child become enlightened. It's like sacrifice, but for the best, for not only humanity, for the family, for everything, for the child, for the family, for whole humanity to have an enlightened kid. So, but the parents have to do some level of sacrifice, tyaga, right? It's like you having to quit and go and move there and live in the Ardinam for a few years so that the kids settle down if the kid is very young, right? So all these are only possible if the parents' priority are shifted to place the importance of putting the child's education system as number one. Understand, it is not about the child learning, it's the awakening the child becoming an enlightened being. See, by the time the child reached 21 years old, he entered at 7, by the time he reaches 21 years old, he's already enlightened in the Gurukul. And of course, by then he has an option to whether get married or become, continue, the service as a sanya. So that option is open to the child. So that's why eventually is to create, Swamiji hope that by learning to manage e-Gurukul first, more and more parents and kids or teachers are becoming part of the ecosystem and imbibing and embracing this whole principle of Gurukul. And then when the right people gathers, it will just happen for Gurukul. You will find a place where all the family will come together and live as a community for the sake of, bringing the kids in the best ambience for the flowering of consciousness. That will only happen if you start somewhere. Of course, the quickest is to send them to India and then you just, uproot. That's the quickest. But you may come with certain obstacles. Like for instance, that you cannot leave the country yet, or because, the child may not get used to living in India because it's a very different system. They prefer to be close to the parents. There may be some other, resistance. So of course, the option is given whether you send them to India or you create one wherever you are. That is also possible. Okay, so that's why in Singapore we're going to launch the first e-Gurukul by next month in Navaratri. So we're going to have the first batch of e-Gurukul kids and grow from there. And hopefully in I don't know how many years down the path, that parents are seeing the benefits and the extraordinary flowering of the children that they want to have a physical Gurukul. So
also now we can add that George is purely a Gurukul kid. He's not,
George. He's not. He never go. Even though Anna sent him to the local, childcare, or you call it a daycare, but he's like he missed like 2/3 of the time. He's mostly at home doing his thing and attending Gurukul and things like that. So it's see, that's what happened when Swamiji initiates. The child's intelligence gets awakened and he becomes very sure what he wants, what he doesn't want. He will not be forced to follow, the system nor what the parent forced them. Anna can never force him.
That's right. I can never. If he thinks, okay, this thing is correct, he will do. If not, he will give me a lot of reasons. He's very good at that. So I think if he goes to school, school, the system is very rigid. Yeah. So I foresee if next year he goes to school, the school teacher is going to call me every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ma, Lalau, there's I think one.
I think you have now some people who are translating their question in the chat, Ma.
Yeah. So Issa Lai doesn't like school. This is from who? This is from.
This is a former parent, Fabio.
Fabio.
Okay,
Fabio, he said, Isla, is that your child, your son or daughter?
Yes, daughter.
Okay, I know that until now it was important for the writing, the basic, but she's not moving forward with this learning system. I leave her in school for social purpose so that she can interact with kids in this school. Okay, I'm not sure she will be valued. What to stop working and and go to school for her, but without isolating her. So he has a question, right?
Yes, I think the question.
Say what?
Denis, go ahead.
Yeah. I have understand the principle of examination because I am a side product of that. When I was young, with competition, with comparison, etc. But the system of examination is so deeply grounded in our society that the parents look at that as a scale. And when I see my grandson, they are boring rapidly. When I am with them 2 days, something like that, they are in their computer with manga, and it is difficult even for me to understand what happened. And is the great problem is the awakening of the parents.
Yes, I agree.
It's the basic, because if the parents are awakened at this moment, they can't follow the kids a different manner.
Yes.
And even with the teacher when the kids is at school, the teacher have the idea of yes, but you have to pass to go to examination, etc. But with the science of Gurukul, maybe the kids have more capacity to go to the exam.
Yeah.
And not have stress.
Yes. See, that's for sure, because in Singapore, in VDD, the Balasan, because of the system in India, they still have to take some exam because they have to be graded in some way. But for them, they never study. They just spend most of the time in the temple doing stuff, and then they just go and download and just tell Swamiji wants the answer. And then they never really study much in the actual exam. But they were passed. They were sail through the examination. That's a different story, because with Swamiji initiation, he never made his kid torture, right? See, but right now, as you all can see now, one of the biggest hurdle is the system that is created. The parent mentor setup, the teacher's mentor setup. You see, to even have e-Gurukul, you need a different caliber of teachers. You cannot have ordinary teachers.
Yeah.
Right? Because the teachers needs to have done a lot of spiritual work in order to teach kids, with the right spiritual knowledge. It's not just like, okay, I just come and teach, e-Gurukul, just from outside teacher come and teach. You can't. You need to have done enough completions, understanding about all this spiritual context before you can even teach. That's why my team, I've been working with them since 2014. Like Shankar, who she left because she had another drawing class coming. She has been with me. We have been together in the Gurukul team for a while before we train them. All the people that they're part of my team, they're all slowly being trained. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a lot of You know, the teachers need to evolve also consciously before they can do this. So, you know, for all of you who wants to have Gurukul, Gurukul, first start building a community of teachers and parents. Then you see it happening. Have group of teachers who are, you know, radiating Swamiji's teachings, you know, the whole teaching of Gurukul and what is the best Vedic education system to bring to the world. And then they also need to do a lot of completions and all that so that they can transmit that to the children also. Because if they're not authentic or they're not integrated, then the kids will not listen to them. That's what is happening, you know. So even the parents, they also have to be educated, because the parents are the one who make the decision for the child, correct? The parents are the one who needs to have a cognitive shift before they can say, okay, I'm going to tread an untrodden path. I don't want to send my kid to normal school. It's like Anna, she's not insecure about the child's not going to school, that the child is missing out. She feel relaxed. They say, I see my kid is happy. My kid is flowering in different way. I know, you know, he will find a place in his you know, in his world, and he will know how to, you know, how to create a beautiful world. Not going through exam is no big deal. Or not going through the system is no big deal. She will know that he will be guided in some way. Having that confidence in the mothers or in the parents is very important. Do you understand what I'm saying? This Fabio, now that you are listening to what we are talking about.
Maintenant, Fabio, est-ce que tu écoutes ça? I think Fabio's question is more about the social, like how to have fulfill this social, you know, need of kids, because now that his kid is a special kid, but they don't value, you know, really what is.
When you say special kids means what? He's a special needs. Maya muted.
Sorry, she has learning disability.
Okay, no. Okay, yeah. Fabio, listen carefully. This is one thing.
Bien, Fabio.
Many of these kids who so-called society label as special needs kids, they are actually very, very evolved soul. They are highly intelligent. They don't want to go through the normal system. That's why they come in this form. Understand? So don't think that, oh, I got a problem kid, you know, my kids are different, very difficult, you know. No, that means they know what they want. You just have to be creative in how to bring up the best in them, which means you cannot go send them to normal school. They are extraordinary. They're chosen you to be parent because they know that you will not force them to go to the ordinary school, because you are, you know, you're going to help them, you know, realize their full potential. That's why these special needs kids come in this form, to make you not do the unconscious thing to them. Do you understand, Fabio? So don't feel guilty that you have a kid is not normal. Actually, they are actually going to be extraordinary. So don't worry about it. You just need to guide them, let them discover their full potential. Of course, one of the most beautiful things that I see in Gurukul system is that when a guru initiates a child, he not only awakens the past bio memory, that means what the child has accumulated in the past, but he also upgrades him or her for what the child needs to do in this body. Like for instance, George may have come from last time as an artist. He has accumulated a lot of talent in artistic expression, drawing, whatever. So that's why this birth, he come back again, you know, he loved to draw and all that. But for Swamiji, he will not only just make him, you know, scribble and draw, he will upgrade him into something. In the future, he could be creating deities, right? Visualization of deities and manifesting them as a physical form. These are powerful visualization. You have no idea what he's going to do.
Yeah,
right?
he's already told me he want to design the deity for the Golden Temple in Singapore.
See, he told me I have to create a Golden Temple in Singapore. He already know that, and he said in the Golden Temple, many of us will stay together. He had already got the vision.
He said it will be don't know how many stories high, very big one. Let me show you. This is what he drew during Ma Shankari's lesson this afternoon.
This is Ganesha.
Yes, Ma Shankari showed him a different one, but he drew his own.
Yeah.
And he just draw this. Just now I was talking about Ma Kali, right? There, can you see? No, he just drew it like 10 minutes.
Can you see how fast he just?
Yeah, he's very fast.
Because you know why? He's living in that space by connecting with the deities. So his past birth memory is like he may have already worked with deities before. So for him to visualize and draw them is like that, 5-10 minutes he can create a deity. So you don't know the child's potential. Only when the guru happens, he likes not only the being, he upgrades him for his next possibility. So that's why Gurukul is possible for a child when he happens in the breathing space of the guru through the initiation. Now, he never even met Swamiji physically, just to online only. Initiation, he's like this. Can you imagine if you go to sit in front of Swamiji? Oh my God, you'll become enlightened on the spot, right? So that's what I'm saying, that there's so much possibility for a child when they are put in the proper incubation, by the guru. When the guru grooms them through his own space, by his own so-called magical work that he will do for each child. Because each child is going to be his extension. Okay? So I think we're gone way past now. Sorry, because some of them came late. I knew it was a hot topic that many people are so interested to comment. So I hope this gives all of us clarity that we need to start working on the parents and the acharya as well, if they want to bring the successful ecosystem of Gurukul. Okay, so wherever you are, whether it's Ma Lalao's team and Ma Shadarupa's team, eventually all of you has to come together to manifest that. Because only when you start imbibing this whole principle of Gurukul, why is best for the next generation, otherwise we only destroy them. So let's make it happen. Understand? Hey, George.
You have a specific question here, Maduga, from Fabio. He says that his daughter will have difficulty to learn counting and writing. And is it okay to let her like that?
It's okay.
See, okay.
Fabio, sometimes they take a while to activate the left brain. She may be more developed on the right brain. Don't worry about it. Just you can do a lot of chanting, Sanskrit chanting. All this will awaken the non-mechanical parts of the brain. She will start becoming more intelligent, able to do that when the full brain gets working. Okay, so introduce things like chanting, because chanting is very good for rewiring the brain. Yoga is another way to rewire the brain. Yoga developed physically, and chanting, Sanskrit chanting, some verse singing, kirtans, all this helps in the rewiring of the brain. Just let them play and have fun. Okay, got it? Yes. So I really want to apologize that we have to come to the end because it's already past half an hour. And I really thank all of you for joining the session. And it has been really my pleasure to host this session for all of you to, be able to contribute and share your thoughts and ideas about this. So I think we have a lot of work ahead, which is to create a new ecosystem for these kids who has come down to be with Swamiji, to be, the next generation, the new generation of species who is going to, create a whole new consciousness on planet Earth. And we are in the process of making that. We're in the process of, making everything happen, all the pieces of the puzzle, which is what, the exciting part for all of us, whether you're a parent, whether you are an acharya, a teacher. We're all part of the whole ecosystem. So I'm really, really grateful that all of you joined this topic. So next session will happen in the next 2 weeks' time. I'll let y'all know the next topic. Okay. See, right now, all the topics is related to the Gurukul. I want to talk about Gurukul in the right context so that all of you, more and more parents, get to understand more about Gurukul in the right context from its original way, the way how it was run, during those enlightened civilization. Thank you. So let's end with the Puna mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sovam Bhagavad Sri Nityananda Parama Shiva Paruka Paramastu. Om Nityanandam.
Nityanandam, bye-bye.
Thank you, George. All right,
I kept my
Nityananda.
microphone on.
Bye.
Marjorie, Sharika, you want to end the Facebook Live? Yeah.